One of the reasons that I love having a podcast is because I get to talk to people who are smarter than me and know a lot of different things than I do. In my conversation today, I found myself stopping taking notes and getting so immersed in the conversation that I almost was like, oh my gosh, where am I going to take this next? Because every piece of what we discussed was so meaningful and so important. In my conversation today with Victoria Albina, we talk about how trauma and codependence can manifest within our body, causing everything from adrenal issues to digestive concerns to mental health concerns like anxiety and depression. We talk about how we have been raised in a culture of people pleasing that is not helping any of us to actually heal our inner child and the traumas that we have within and help us understand how we can become the best versions of ourselves. My favorite thing from today's conversation is that being selfish is not actually selfish. It is one of the things that we need to do in order to ensure that we are able to protect ourselves and grow in a safe space. We also talk about how being selfless can be extraordinarily detrimental to our health. Let's get to the show. Welcome to the Lindsay Elmore Show, a podcast that helps you find fulfillment amidst chaos. On this show, I interview thought leaders, doctors, creatives, spiritual gurus, and game changers who inspire you to pursue your dreams, overcome obstacles, and leave your mark. Victoria Albina is a certified life coach and breathwork meditation guide with a passion for helping women realize that they are their own best healers so that they can break free from codependency, perfectionism, and people-pleasing and reclaim their joy. Victoria is a UCSF-trained family nurse practitioner who also has a master's degree in public health from Boston University School of Public Health and a bachelor's of the arts in Latin American studies from Oberlin College. Victoria has been working in health and wellness for over 20 years and lives on occupied Lagniappe territory in New York's Hudson Valley. Victoria Albina, welcome to the Lindsay Elmore Show.
Thank you so much for having me. I am delighted to be here.
I had so much fun this morning as I was doing my morning jog, listening to your podcast. It is such an enjoyable listen, and it's honestly messages that so many women need to hear. It's about codependent relationships. It's about chronic gut issues. It's about how do you heal your inner child. It's about overcoming trauma. It's about all of the things. I want us to start talking today about how so many women go through life and they are like, I can't take care of myself. I don't have time. They're putting everybody else in front of themselves and they are just denying their innermost joy. They're doing all the things. And oftentimes, I think we talk a lot about how constantly saying yes and people pleasing is a bad habit and how it's hurting our mental health and how it's causing stress and anxiety. But you tie a really clear, direct line to how it is also causing us physiological problems within our body, even things that we may not even relate. So how does constantly being a people pleaser manifest physically within our body?
Thank you for starting us out with serious nerditry, because you know your girl loves to geek out.
So one and the same.
Birds of a feather. So, well, I'll actually start by saying I think that humans who are doing this, who are chronically putting others ahead of ourselves, we are sourcing our worth and value from everyone else. So I think there's actually this place where we don't even realize we're doing it, because what we've been socialized to believe and what our conditioning from childhood has taught us is that that's the right thing to do. Right? The old, well, if my family isn't happy, I'm not happy. If the kids aren't happy, how could I be happy? Right? I think of one of my best friend's moms who always spends every holiday running around, attending to things, making sure the rolls are hot, making sure this is good. And everyone just wants to have dinner with her. But in her mind, her job, her raison d'etre as a human, socialized as a woman, as a mother, as a provider, is to do these things that put her last, right? So it's not, we don't even realize it. So I just wanted to say that first, and now we shall nerd. So yeah, let's do it. So polyvagal theory. So when we understand the nervous system, we understand that our bodies are built for social connection. Our nervous system has an automatic guide to, it's like our compass points towards social connection at all times. And so that social connection, when we're in that part of our nervous system, it's called vagal. That's when we feel safe, secure, connected. And so it makes sense as humans that we would try to keep the people around us pleased. But what happens is when we base our sense of worth, our value, our goodness as humans on everyone always saying, you're the best. Oh my gosh, thank you for doing things for me I totally didn't ask you to do in a way I didn't want them done, but thank you. You are worthy of love, right? When we don't get that perfect response, it tells us we're worthy, we're good, we're amazing, we should continue to survive and be fed, then our body can go into sympathetic overdrive. Our adrenals get turned on, our bodies get flooded with adrenaline, norepinephrine, eventually cortisol. And that is a stress state. Now, some sympathetic is vital, is necessary. It was necessary for you and me to, put on pants and get in front of Zoom today and have this conversation. But what happens is when we are chronically sourcing our worthiness, our wellness from everyone else, that activates that adrenal system to seek more and more and more. Because dopamine, these hormones, they flash in our bodies and their half-life is milliseconds, seconds really, and they're gone. So we need another hit of approval, another hit of validation, someone else to tell us you deserve to be alive. And so that trains our body in this really problematic way, because when we are chronically in that fight or flight sympathetic mode, well, it makes sense. That mode was originally just for one purpose, and that purpose was lion attacks. And if that's happening every time your boss says, oh, we need to talk about your last memo, every time your mom texts and says, oh, I need to talk about your father, every time your date says, hey, are you available for a chat? And we go into that sympathetic overdrive, we are exhausting that system. And when your body is in adrenaline, when it's in that sympathetic, everything that's not necessary for survival from a lion attack gets shut down, because of course it should. Like it should. I don't want my body digesting a cheeseburger, making thyroid hormones, building a healthy endometrium so I can have a healthy period. No, thank you. I wanted to run. I want my heart rate elevated. I want my breathing to get shallow so I can power through and run from a lion.
But like you're saying, it's not how we're built to be constantly, day in and day out. And, you saying you've got to have that next hit, it reminds me so much of what we do on social media all day, every single day. And also, you and I are both UCSF grads, so hailing the alma mater right there. One of the things that you're describing that I don't know that you even know you're describing it in this way, but you're describing why drugs like amphetamines don't work as well over time, and addictive drugs in general don't work as well over time. Benzos, opiates, they don't work as well over time, and that's what builds tolerance, and that is what leads to increasing need for dosages, is because you're depleting all of your neurotransmitters. Your neurotransmitters are like, I can only make so many milligrams of dopamine every this many minutes or days or whatever. And because with medications like amphetamine or Adderall or any of the stimulants, or with chronic stress, you're basically like, well, I know you can only make that many milligrams, but I am going to just set on fire over here my entire storehouse of neurotransmitters so that we burn out. And like you said, when you burn out, your body just can't take anymore. It can't handle it.